Welcome to Your Family's Health, the program that focuses on healthcare issues with unique and different modalities for taking charge of your health today. Experts talk weekly with our continuing roster of guests from around the country and right here in Nassau County to keep you up to date on the latest health issues and trends. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. Spend the next half hour with the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and get on the journey to better health.
Hello and welcome to Your Family's Health. My name is Joan Buckley from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College, and today we're talking about the relationship between sports and nutrition. So our guest today is sports and nutrition expert Mike Huey. He's the CEO of HeFluence and was just named top entrepreneur to follow in 2019. He has all the tools to help people level up in their business life, their health, and in their relationships. So, Michael Huey, welcome to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. So, Michael.
Hey, Joan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you connect? I mean, it's pretty obvious. You need to be healthy to participate in sports and things like that. But where did HeFluence come into this? And what is the connection between this topic and you?
Great topic. I love to talk about health in general. Joan, I was the boy who was raised in a small town in Ohio. I was that boy that was told I would never graduate from high school or go to college, and they were wrong. I graduated towards the top of my class at Ohio State. I actually was a 4-year letter winner in track and field and graduated with a 3.6 grade point average in exercise science, sports management, and nutrition. And then I think I got wise and I moved from the great north to the sunny state of Florida where my wife Lisa and I reside. I started a personal training business and I excelled to the top 1% of the industry in just about 10 years. And I stayed there for over 20 years. I went on to get multiple degrees in exercise science, as I said, in nutrition. I went on and got a degree in counseling from the Christian Life School of Theology. And I launched HeFluence about a year ago after taking a break from the industry. I had created residual income from selling my company and from another company that I partnered with. And so I was ready to go back. And a lot of things happen, Joan, that men in the fitness industry and the nutrition industry get burnt out from working a lot. And I did that. But now I relaunched HeFluence in 2019, and you've said it, we are one of the top brands teaching men how to become the best version of themselves and teaching athletes the same.
Now, what kind of men approach you? Like, how do they find out about HeFluence? Is it from peers, or do you market it through high impact companies, whether you know the stress level is high? Because HeFluence, it's not just about nutrition, health, or it's like a combination of everything that puts a person together, especially the man.
Yes. And it's funny, my wife and I were talking about this past week about
a HeFluence.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because we will eventually launch HeFluence, but
yes.
my wife felt like that we were to focus on the man because she pushed me to become the leader of our home. And
Wow.
And for those of you that don't know about that, my wife has always kind of pushed me to become that leader, to be that protector. And so from an influence perspective, my wife and I just started to join different communities. We joined a mastermind from out in California that was rated number 1 by Forbes Inc. and Huffington Post. And just this last weekend, my wife and I won the Influencer Business Award for the person who has had the most success in their business from last year to this year. And it was voted on by over 1,500 people inside the community. So I use a lot of different methods. I use social media. I use, going into corporations and helping those. We're launching several programs that will help what we call the health activated individual, Joan.
Wow. That's really very, very interesting. Now, Tell me a little. You do help and talk about health, but you also help people in business relationships. How did that? Because you were an athlete and you were educated in nutrition and sports medicine and all that. How did the business piece? Was that just the drive of being successful?
Yes, and I think a lot of times, Joan, people want to be entrepreneurs. I mean, I think that as I've worked with men over the years, I find out that men or even women want to have multiple streams of income. They want to be better. They want to be business owners. I've been able to. I just took a client of mine who was one of my coaching clients who was working in the food industry for over 20 years. A very brilliant guy, and he was fearful of stepping out on his own, and now he's stepped out on his own, and I mapped that out for him and taught him how to start his own business, and now he's replaced his multiple six-figure income. So I think it starts with the physical when you're teaching somebody, but I think a lot of men, they want to be able to provide better for their families, and they want to be able to have healthy, sustainable, successful businesses.
You know, when you talk about families, and that to me says it speaks to the nutrition. So let's talk about nutrition a little bit. How important then is the relationship between men and nutrition? Because you always think of the mother, or not always, but the one that cooks being the main person. How does it turn in this case? HeFluence kind of incorporates the man into the nutrition piece. And how does that work in a household?
Well, it's pretty funny that you bring up that part of it, because I do all the cooking in my home.
Oh, gee whiz.
That was one of the non-negotiables when Lisa and I got married. My wife retired a year ago from the nursing industry. She was a cardiac nurse, and she knew that I loved to cook. And you know, I'll be 50 this year, and I feel and look and are performing like I did in my 30s. And I believe, and you brought that up. I think it really starts around about these quick, and I'll just go over them real quickly with you. There's these little small components. I believe it starts with the mindset. I believe it starts with how you prepare your food and what you do for the days, for that day and the next day. I believe it starts with getting proper sleep. I believe it starts with no more one size fits all, Joan, when it comes to nutrition. There's so many, keto this and Mediterranean diet this. We do extensive testing to find out and focus on the individual. We find out what's going on inside their gut. We find out, and take all these pieces into consideration when developing a program for somebody. And we used to always think that we were bound to our DNA. If our mother and father or grandfather had this, we were going to have that. And I found out that that's no longer true. We can actually, we're no longer bound to our DNA. We can actually hack into systems inside of our body. And there's a new buzzword called biohacking, and my wife and I have become passionate about biohacking.
Wow. You're listening to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Joan Buckley from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College, and today we're talking to sports and nutrition expert Michael Huey. He's CEO of a company called HeFluence and was just named top entrepreneur to follow in 2019. Now, you mentioned biohacking. That was where we left off before that little identification piece. I don't understand biohacking. I've never heard of it before. And does this mean that if I'm on Weight Watchers, I could do a little Weight Watchers and a little paleo, and I'll get my... And then, of course, if you stop eating at 8 o'clock at night, you can start again at 8 o'clock in the morning. So what is biohacking? Because I would definitely cheat. I would be cheating all over the place.
Well, I don't see a lot of people. It's funny that people don't know about biohacking. I mean, think about it when you think about it like this, Joan. Think about it. How many people thought that a cell phone would eliminate a beeper and a payphone, and nobody carries a Kodak camera anymore, or a calculator, or, just there's so many things. So biohacking is the future to our health. Biohacking is hacking our own biology, where you actually gain control of systems in your body that you would have never have had access to before, slowing down the aging process and reducing inflammation, things that before people thought they had figured out, and then they found out they really weren't able to. Like, I don't know if you've seen them around, like there's cryotherapy, and there's infrared saunas, there's one of the biggest things now, and I'm sure being in the nursing industry, you've heard this, is a term called intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's all these different things that go to biohacking, but one of the biggest terms that's easy for people to kind of understand when it comes to biohacking is this term intermittent fasting. And so that's just one piece of it.
Wow. What if someone has a disease that requires a particular diet? Are they able to be included in your mind-body nutrition combination of wellness through nutrition? If they have a specific diet, it's maybe even more important.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you asked that, because we never do at HeFluence, we never do one size fits all. We target the person. We do extensive DNA testing. We do a hair, nail, and saliva testing. We do gut testing. We dig deep so that we can, and I'll just say this, I'm not allowed to say that anything I do treats, prevents, or cures or mitigate disease. Mm-mm. But in the last 10 years, I've been able to eliminate 95% of the medications from my family and from a lot of the clients that come into our program. So, and I believe that that's a big thing for people nowadays. I believe that and if you know this, Joan, we live in the most unhealthy country in the world. The 72% now, I'm looking at some stats that I wrote down earlier last week, are overweight, and 47% of Americans are obese. Mm-hmm. So, and that leads to diabetes and heart disease and cancer, and we go on and on. So you have to treat it at the root cause of it, and that's our proper nutrition.
You know, on your website, the HeFluence website, I went on it this morning, and you have it's only mailed, so a man can fit in his name and email, whatever, and it's a cheat sheet or something where yes. Can you tell us a little bit about the cheat sheet?
Well,
what is that going to do for you with this person? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what I like to do is I like to give people some basic information of how to get started if it comes to their health. That way, if they really decide they want to dig deeper into that, and it kind of starts with those couple things that I told you about, teaching them how to get better sleep, teaching them how to do intermittent fasting, teaching them how to have structure and intentionality when it comes to their eating and their exercise and their hydration. So I give them kind of little bitty tips of what to do that they cannot just get immediate results, but they can create a lifestyle that leads them to long-term health. And so that's what the cheat sheet is all about. It's teaching men how to get started and to maintain it. Like you said, you would cheat. I give them ways not to cheat, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, but it is something that, and I learned it a long time ago when I was much younger, that you can't change everything at once. So the fact that you meet these people where they're at, and you ask them specific questions, and you probably, I didn't get to fill out the thing because it was for men, but I may do it later.
Just anyway, Joan.
I will later.
I'll send you one at another time.
But
so you can.
That, to me, that is just so important. And you're not. They have no expectation. You have no real expectation at the beginning. But you're giving them like a way to almost own what they are. Maybe they're a little heavy. Maybe they're not. And make a change to bring themselves forward to being healthy.
Yes.
I think that's really kind of a very nice way to kind of meet somebody and to really make a change in their life. So let's take a quick break. My name is Joan Buckley from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College. And today we're talking about sports and nutrition experts. And we're talking to Michael Huey. He is the CEO of a company called HeFluence. And you're listening to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesman to the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We now return to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thanks for being with us today. This is Joan Buckley from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College. And today we're talking about sports and nutrition with an expert, Michael Huey. He is the CEO of a company called HeFluence and was just named top entrepreneur to follow in 2019. So now, Michael, I did go to your website, and I will fill out the form, the little cheat sheet. But tell us about your website, because you have a number of services. It talks a little bit about the mission. Tell us a little bit about HeFluence. Absolutely.
Well, HeFluence, obviously, I'll give you the insight. I'm obviously a man of faith, and HeFluence was created. He, meaning God, influences me to influence men to walk in purpose. And so God showed me a long time ago, Joan, that men needed accountability, and they needed a community where they could feel safe, where they could feel connected, and a lot of times even feel vulnerable, so that they can learn and grow and really separate themselves from the chaos of the world. And so, the no more same old. I got really tired of just watching things that went on social media, and the communities that were out there were just a one-size-fits-all community. I want to create a group and community of men that are striving to become and live the better years of their life than what they did before. I'll give you a quick example. I have a very close friend of mine that I considered a mentor, and he came to me the other day and wanted to hire me to mentor him. And when you create a community where people that are valuing each other and they can learn and grow from each other, I believe that that's what life is about. Life is about learning and growing. One of my mentors, Dr. John C. Maxwell, said, if you're not learning and growing, you're dying. And so I wanted to create a community of men where they could do just those things: be vulnerable, be accountability, and feel safe.
Wow. So how does the website work then? So if someone fills out this information, you give them a little bit of help. And how does a real connection then from that step forward? What are the steps that someone would experience going from your website to find out more?
Yeah, well, so what that does is that gives us access to being able to reach out to them and contact them and set up a time where I will do a consultation. We're in the process of bringing on a couple other coaches that we feel, and I feel it's a really leap of faith for me to bring in people that I really feel connected with, that can really stick with the message of what we want. So what we do is once they fill out that form, there's a little area for them to go on and click and come on and get an interview with myself, which is usually about 15 to 30 minutes, and then we see how we can help them, whether that's going into one of our Facebook groups, or working with me one-on-one, or being in one of our 90-day groups, or even just doing some of our challenges. We have challenges going on right now, Joan, that are literally blowing my mind. I was up reading early this morning. I had a red-eye flight, and I promised my wife I'll never do those red-eye flights again. but I'm so healthy that it allows me to do some things that I normally wouldn't do. But I think that it's important that men, when they're searching for answers, they have somebody that they can know, like, and trust, that they can connect with. And I think we've made that simple for men. Once they go to our website, that they're going to get the attention that they need. They're not just another person out on the internet that somebody's trying to look to sell them something. And obviously we all have to get paid to work, but it's about the man, not just about the systems or whatever else we have. And we want to just help men become the best version of themselves.
Do you think it's different because it is a male on male or male to male communication piece? Do you think it's better that way for men? I mean, I know even in my personal life, my husband, I tell him what to do a lot. I probably don't give him, and he does what he wants to do. Don't get me wrong. But, I find that that's the way I talk. Like, I'll tell him what to do. And it sounds like with your company, with HeFluence, that's not the case. It's more of a listening.
Yes, we want to educate. And let me just say this, John. We do bring, if the husband wants to bring the wife into this, my wife and I will work with them too. Like for instance, if they want to do the same exercise programs, and we will develop a menu plan for the husband and for the wife with a grocery list and a prep guide and a shopping, everything that they need to do everything together. And a lot of times that happens. Like I have about 10 clients recently that we did that for. We did everything for the husband and for the wife, but we focus more on the man individually. And if the husband and wife want to do a session together, my wife and I will do that. So I believe it's even though it's directed towards men, we want the wife to feel like she knows what's going on and what her husband's doing. So yes, that's a very important piece.
Well, when you brought up the mission and you said he was more of a higher power, I think that this is kind of a natural progression then for men to feel like they could bring in their partner and make this a whole, because it does sound like you're touching on all parts of a person. So yeah, I think absolutely. This is an excellent progression. Now, does anyone ever come back to you and say, I haven't seen you in 6 months, but I am, and tell you how great they feel or anything like that? Have you gotten a lot of success stories?
Yes, and there's a lot of that on our website. If you go to HeFluence, which is what Joan is talking about, if you go to HeFluence.com, we have a lot of videos and testimonies. We're getting ready to add a whole bunch more from a lot of the recent ones that we've been working with. I mean, we have guys that come in and it saves their marriages. We have guys that come in and their increase at their sales at their job go up 30%. You have guys like my friend Michael I told you about earlier who, start their own company and create, time freedom and financial freedom and, people getting off of medications. The whole piece is centered around the man having a roadmap, Joan, that they can live their lifestyle by without the ups and downs, without the quitting and going back to a life of complacency. And I believe it all starts with intentionality. And once we teach men to be intentional, their lives excel.
Wow. You're listening to Your Family's Health on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Joan Buckley from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College. And today we've been talking with Michael Huey, who's a sports and nutrition expert. He's CEO of HeFluence and was just named top entrepreneur to follow in 2019. And he has all the tools to help people level up in business, health, and relationships. Now, there's a term on your website, and I'm going to ask you to explain it because it sounds like a tough guy term, but it's man up. What does man up mean to the men that are influenced by HeFluence? And you, what is this man up thing? How do you explain this man up?
Man up, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a manly term, right?
It does sound very manly, yeah.
Yeah, it does. I'm, and let me tell you why I have that. We're November the 1st through the 3rd here in Tampa, Florida. We are having a men's live event. And I believe the reason I'm having this is so that men can level up in every area of their life. We are not selling tickets for another couple weeks, but I'm going to give the website to your community live now for the men who want it, because the tickets are going to go very fast. It's very similar to the other website. It's HeFluenceSocietyLive.com. And this is going to be an event only for men. It's only going to be 160 men. Tickets will sell out very quickly. And men are going to come to Tampa and hear from 8 different speakers, 9 being myself, over 2 days. And then when they leave, they're going to have everything that they can do, they need to, like you said, Joan, man up and become who I believe God called them to be. I believe so many men miss their lives and their life passes them by, and then they never become the person that God created them to be. They just, I think the worst bumper sticker ever made is when it says coexist. I don't know any person that truly in their heart just wants to coexist. I believe they want to thrive. I believe they want to be, but I believe they don't have the roadmap to do that. Mm-hmm. And I believe at HeFluence we're creating a roadmap for men to really live life how they were intended to live it.
I kind of agree. I think sometimes we are our worst enemy, whether it be a man or a woman. We're very hard on ourselves. So we don't know how to
Totally.
forgive. But what are some of the recommendations that you have when it comes, and probably a lot of it's related to this word stress. It's a really big word and it's everywhere for people. So what are some recommendations that you have for people to deal with this stress that prevents them from coexisting?
Stress is what I believe leads to a lot of sickness and disease. And I'll just be very blunt. Joan, I think it starts with forgiveness, unforgiveness. I think it starts with being able to forgive themselves and forgive others. We carry a lot of that. I have a friend of mine named Chris Wark who wrote a book called Chris Beats Cancer. And I asked him this question. I said, what is the number one thing that you felt besides changing your diet and all the stuff that you wrote about in your book? What would you think was the number one thing? And if you've read the book, you'll see that it was forgiveness. He said all the stress in his life left when he limited his false beliefs, about himself and the things that he was capable of doing. And I think that's what leads to stress: lack of intentionality, lack of accountability, and lack of community leads to stress, whether it's a man or a woman. If there's no accountability, no real safe place or someone safe, I have mentors in my life, and I don't have a lot of them. I have 3, and I allow them to hold me accountable. And I think once we are intentional and accountable, stress leaves. And I believe that that's what I've been able to teach hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men over the past 20 years of doing what I've been doing.
Wow. Is there an exercise that starts, like a simple exercise you could just tell the audience about?
Well, I'll tell you what's really popular, and you asked me, I like how you laughed about what is biohacking. Well, a short term of starting exercising, there's a way that a lot of people are busy, right, Joan? I think you'd agree with me, right? Like, people are super busy and they feel like they don't have time to exercise. Yeah. What if I told you, just you, Joan, if you could exercise 3 to 4 times a week for 20 minutes and get the same results that other people are getting that are exercising an hour or 2 hours 5 times a week? Would you want to know what that was?
Maybe. I just took the stairs instead of the elevator, so I'm opening up. I'm aware of my exercise.
Okay, at least you're being honest. You're being honest. So I've started to teach what's called HIIT training, high intensity interval training, and you can do it for 20 minutes. I usually start guys out or females out. Like, my sister-in-law just wrote me last night and said, I need some help. I'm off for the summer. I need to start exercising. And she goes, and it can't be an hour or 2 hours. Okay. I said, perfect. This is called HIIT training, high intensity interval training. And on our website, we're developing a section where we're going to have videos on HIIT training. And we do that with people and teach them how to maximize their time by doing exercises, even, Joan, if they don't have to go to the gym, even like using the stairs or, doing some squats, doing some push-ups against the wall. Real simple things that people can do that are incorporated where maybe you don't have, maybe you're traveling, maybe you don't have a gym to go to. So I teach people how to not make excuses about exercise and give them options.
Wow. Thank you for being here, Michael Huey, and talking about sports, nutrition, and life. This is Joan Buckley from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College, and we want to thank you for listening to this week's edition of Your Family's Health.
We'd like to get your feedback on your family's health. Send your comments by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu. Podcasts of today's show are available on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This program was produced at the studios of Nassau Community College in cooperation with the nursing department. Join us next week for another edition of Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.